Just imagine, you're soaring high above the clouds in cozy leather armchair, enjoying a meal from your favorite restaurant, and after landing going to a VIP lounge in General Aviation terminal for business jets. Of course, if you have a private jet. In previous videos I have already talked about the advantages of private aviation and how you can afford to fly a business jet. And today I would like to tell you about buying a private jet. How much will it cost? What about maintenance price? All the pros and cons as well if you suddenly think about such a purchase. And the main question, do you really need it so much? Watch the video to the end and you'll find out. Anyone can buy a plane.
Of course. Of course.
Well, alright, not anyone, but the point is that buying a private jet is not the most expensive thing. The most expensive thing is the maintenance of business jet after its purchase. Because you will have to pay for everything. For every takeoff, for every landing, every pack of juice, every glass of whiskey.
Me money! Me beautiful money!
For example, the average landing fee ranges from 200 to 900 euros depending on destination, airport and type of aircraft. Let's say you buy a jet for $35 million, for example, such a wonderful Gulfstream G400, and you will definitely store it in a heated hangar. Such parking will cost you from 80 to 100,000 euro per year. And if you need your plane to stand at a large and busy airport, for example in Frankfurt International, you will have to pay about 10,000 euros per month, or 120,000 euros per year. Don't forget that you won't be able to get into the air on your brand new Gulfstream G400 without three things: without fuel, without insurance, and without a crew. On average, fuel costs €1 per liter. It turns out that you will spend at least 250,000 euros a year on fuel. I could buy a house for such amount. Now to the insurances. Oh yes, you heard right, to the insurances. There are several of them. Firstly, it's insurance covering all potential damage of the aircraft and its systems, which costs about 30 to 50,000 euros per year. Moreover, if you're the owner of the aircraft, you will need sole liability insurance, and this is an additional 12 to 15,000 euros in the list of expenses. We continue. If you are not John Travolta, and if you are accidentally John Travolta, please write a comment. Anyway, if you are not John Travolta, then you most likely need a pilot for your G400, and not one, but two, and one or more flight attendants. The crew and the allowance of the crew in private aviation is not cheap. On average, it will take about 300,000 or 400,000 euros a year. This includes the salaries of the captain and first officer and two flight attendants, as well as their expenses, for example, for hotel accommodation and business trips. When you arrive somewhere for a few days and it makes no sense to send the plane to its home base and it together with the crew remains to wait for you. But these are only the main expenses. There are also a huge number of expenses that arise spontaneously. Well, for example, you decided to fly in winter from Austria to relax and bask in the sun somewhere in Maldives. But in Vienna, on the day of your departure, there was snowy weather and you have to pay for de-icing. It can cost from 1,000 to 10,000 euros. Do not forget about the minor damage that any transport faces, and the plane is no exception here. For example, replacing the windshield will cost you about $60,000, and replacing the tire on the chassis, $8,000. I will not tell you how much the new engine costs. And now let's move on to the most interesting thing, the prices for specific aircraft and their maintenance. Let's start with the bestseller at all times, Cessna Citation XLS Plus. This is a small aircraft that belongs to the super light jet class with a capacity of 8 passengers and 3 crew members. The most up-to-date and new model at the moment will cost you $14–15 million. But if you are okay with a 10-year basic model without updates, you can buy used XLS for, let's say, $4 million. If every year you spend about 200 hours in the sky, and this is enough for 90 flights from Vienna to Madrid, it will take you at least $1.5 million to service the plane. You might want something more impressive than simple small Cessna Citation XLS. Maybe you prefer a more luxurious option like the Gulfstream G650. High ceiling, maximum comfort in the cabin, a sofa or even couple of sofas so that you can take a nap during the flight, as well as the opportunity to fly without landing from London to Los Angeles. In addition to sofas for long flights like London-Los Angeles, all the chairs can be converted in individual beds and give you a good night's sleep. A brand new Gulfstream G650 will cost you $80 million, and if you take used plane, the price reduces to $40 million. So it takes about $7–8 million a year for such a marvelous business jet, provided that you fly 200 hours on it. But it's much more easier to make such a flying time on G650 because this aircraft is designed initially for long flights, for 9, 10 or even 12 hours without fuel stop. Just 10 flights to Maldives, Mauritius or the USA and you have your 200 hours flight time. Easy peasy. In fact, you will be able to calculate the cost of maintenance of any aircraft yourself. The main thing is to know how much the aircraft costs. The cost of maintenance is usually at least 10% of the cost of a new airplane. It doesn't matter if you take a used business jet for $40 million or a brand new one for $80 million, the service price will be $8 million. If you noticed, I was talking all the time about 200 hours. Why 200? The fact is that if you fly less than 150–200 hours per year, then you don't need your own private jet. It will be too unprofitable purchase. And if you fly less, then you'd better choose renting a business jet. And to do it in most profitable, fast and comfort way, you shall visit the website www.avitare.com and fulfill a simple application form. Your personal manager will contact you as quickly as possible and will help you with the selection of an aircraft for your specific flight. And next time I will tell you about a very interesting plane. If you don't want to miss it, then subscribe to the channel, press the like button and ring the bell.